The Trevor Project is proud to honor my dear friend Dan Reynolds with the Trevor Hero Award. Please join me in a round of applause.
Man. Well, I had this whole thing up here that I was gonna read, and that's why I put on my glasses, because I'm really blind. But honestly, I feel like I just want to speak from the heart instead, so I'm gonna take them off. Yes. I'm gonna set this down too. Not to disrespect it, I'm just really fidgety and stuff. So, oh man, I have so much that I want to say, and I know this has been a long evening, so I'm just gonna say it as concisely as I can. I was raised Mormon in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as Mormons say. I have 8 brothers, 1 sister. Since I was young, I was the 7th son, which is supposed to be lucky. In fact, I have this piece of paper my aunt wrote. It was like a poem, and it was this poem about being the 7th son and being lucky and forging new paths. And I never thought much about it until these last couple years. When I was young, I struggled with faith from a very young age. I really saw myself as the black sheep of the family. I had a hard time believing in God. I wanted to believe in God. Every day I wanted to believe in God. I prayed. You know, I had a sincere heart and a contrite spirit, which is what Mormons say. You have to pray fervently. You have to want it. But I always had a hard time with faith. As I got older, it came time for Mormons to go on a mission, which is the age of 19. You don't have to go on a mission, but you kind of do a little bit. You feel a lot of pressure to serve a mission because everybody's doing it. All my brothers did it. They were all super smart. They all went to BYU, which is like the Mormon smart school. I took the PSA or the PACT and I got a 19, which is really, really bad. My brother right before me got a 36, which is a perfect, and he was written up in the news about it, and it was pretty sad when I went home. I told my mom, and so I had to go take all these pre-ACT classes and just tried to step up my game because my grades were bad and stuff. And eventually, I took the ACT 3 times. Eventually, I got the high enough grade to go to BYU. I applied, I got into BYU, I celebrated because I wasn't going to be the first disappointment of the 7 brothers to not go to BYU. And 2 weeks before I was supposed to go, one of my friends who was Mormon said, "Hey, have you ever talked to the bishop and told him, about how you're living? Because it's kind of like a confession thing, is part of it." And I didn't, because I never really felt guilty or something. But I did because my friend said you should do it. So I went. I told my bishop that I had been sleeping with my girlfriend of 4 years in high school, and because of that, I got kicked out of BYU. It was retracted, and I no longer could go, and this was 2 weeks before I was supposed to go to BYU. This is one of the first times I've ever shared this, so I'm really nervous if you can't tell. And I was completely devastated. I had to stay home. I had to go home and tell my mom, first of all, that I couldn't go to BYU, and it was supposed to be private what you tell your bishop, but because I couldn't be private, because my mom said, "Why can't you go to BYU?" I said, "Well, I've been sleeping with my girlfriend, that Catholic girl that I wasn't supposed to be dating. I was sneaking out at night," and my mom wept. I think mostly because she was sad I'd been lying to her for 4 years of high school, which was pretty painful. And I stayed home. I went to UNLV, and then I ended up, after a year of repentance process in the Mormon church, then I was seen as clean to go on a mission. I went on a mission, but the reason I share that with you is because that was devastating for me. I felt dirty. I felt sinful. I felt wrong. I had to cut off communication with my girlfriend, all communication, which was really heartbreaking for both of us. And I went on a mission for 2 years to Nebraska, Omaha. My brothers went to Japan, the Philippines, England, and my dad went to Brazil. So I was like, my faith isn't great, but I'm going to find it. I'm going to go to this amazing place. I'm going to learn a language. And then it was Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. I couldn't get a hold of any of my family when I opened the letter. I was by myself. I called my sister, and she cried on the phone when I told her. And she said, "I'm so sorry." I was like, anyway, I served my mission. 2 years. First week I was out there, I wanted to go home. I cried, I wrote home to my mom. I was like, I hate this, I want to come home. She was like, look, just try it, put your whole heart into it. So I decided for those 2 years, I was going to 100% put my heart into it. I got up every day at 6:30 and did my 2 hours of studies of the Bible, which let me tell you, it can be as boring as it sounds. I know a lot of people see Mormon missionaries, they're like, you know, those people are just destined, they just enjoy reading the Bible. No, I did not. I did. It was boring to me, but I also tried to find truth, and I wanted, like I said, to know God, and so I was in it. I knocked thousands of doors. I loved a lot of my mission. I did a ton of service work. I lost myself. I became nothing. You're the geeky, stupid-looking dude with the name badge, and you get Slurpees thrown at you, and it's humbling. It's humbling, and it was good for me. But I'm sure you're wondering, where is he going with all this? And this is where I'm going with it. For those 2 years, when people asked me what the doctrine was, and they said, hey, I am gay, or I feel, you know, like I feel like I like girls, and what do I do about this? I taught that it was a sin, because that's what I had been raised to teach. I never felt it in my heart since I was young. I hold regret about that to this day. I wish I could knock all those doors. I wish I could re-knock them and tell them that I was wrong. I can't do that. All I can do is come forward to you today and tell you I sincerely am sorry. I really, in my heart, I got home from my mission. I felt very lost. Prop 8 was going on at the time, and the Mormon Church was in the limelight of being, you know, one of the biggest donators to the cause, and it was this whole thing. And I met this girl that I loved because I started this band. I kind of, you know, didn't get involved with politics. I didn't know what to think of all of that, and I met this girl and I fell in love with her, and she's from Eugene, Oregon, and she hated religion and studied the stars and did my tarot card reading with me, and I was just so into it. But she was open to me too, and she was like, you know, this is strange. I don't really know about Mormonism. Don't you have lots of wives? This is cool. Tell me about it. You know, I was like, well, no, I don't really, you know. But long story short, when I met her, she was living with her two best friends who were lesbians. And they were all talking about handcuffing themselves to the federal buildings in wedding dresses. And here I was, this Mormon boy, like, hello, hey guys. and we fell in love, and we went to Vegas and we got married. It broke her two best friends' heart. Neither of them came to our wedding because to them it signified her marrying into Mormonism. At the time I was really hurt because my wife was so hurt. Now I understand. I understand just a glimpse of what they were feeling, and I got on the phone with him this last week for the first time in years and talked to him about it, and we all came to the table. And long story short, my wife was my missionary. She taught me what I already knew in my heart, which was that to be gay is beautiful, it's perfect. If there is a God, to be honest with you, I don't know some days. But if there is a God, I know that any God I want to be a part of believes it's beautiful, perfect, wonderful. I know that as much as anything I've ever known in my life. And in closing, because I know I've taken up way too much time and I'm really sorry. In closing, with my wife, we've come up with this idea where we're going to throw a festival on August 26th in Provo, Utah, which is the home of BYU. And it's going to be called Love Loud. We haven't announced it. Tonight isn't I'm announcing it. It's going to be called Love Loud. Imagine Dragons is going to perform. A lot of other acts are going to perform. All the proceeds are going to go towards the Trevor Project and GLAD. I know that there are Mormons and people of Orthodox religion all around the world that feel the exact same as me. We're going to invite them to come out to listen to music. We're going to have speakers talk about how a family has to accept their child in the home. If they don't, the results, there are statistics that are staggering, that I think if Mormons are educated about it, if people of different faiths are educated about it, they will change their hearts. They will accept their children. And so this, you know, but the change has to happen within the inside. I believe that. And so August 26th, Love Loud. I'm really stoked about it. Thank you for this. This is such a great honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know it's been said, but love is love. Love is love. Thank you so much.